Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. This is March 4th of 2024 and it is still winter outside. It's not snowing now, but it's been snowing off and on. Got more accumulation overnight. I'll have to clean off the project out there. But anyway, in the meanwhile, I've been struggling with all these problems just trying to get this cat started. Started out with the, had to clean out the fuel system. Even though it was running perfect there a year ago, it had fuel line plug plus ice buildup in the carburetor. Had to bring it in, just clean it all out, and then advanced onto that to the mag needle. I couldn't get any spark. Changed, put some new wirings in, bought new plugs, cleaned the points off on the mag. Finally, between putting in a mag or the Weco and the Heisman, ended up putting back the Weco into the machine, and then was really frustrated over the timing hole of these D2, D4 pony motors, and ended up developing a little bit of a process that's better for me anyway. I just made timing marks on the flywheel, so I know when that flywheel is in that position, I can tuck the mag in and it'll mate up with the white mark on the gear. So one thing after another has been frustrating, and I did eventually get this machine started, believe it or not. And because the governor was bound up a little bit when I engaged the diesel, well, it powered out and died. So there I was. Now I got the pinion engaged to the diesel. It's still cold. I did have the oil pressure built up on the diesel, but it's still cold, and I couldn't get the pony motor to fire off because I couldn't get the pinion disengaged without taking the floor plate off to activate the dogs in the pinion. So I tried to start it just with it still engaged. There was so much drag on there that it made the starter work a little bit too hard, and ultimately it never blew up, but it failed. And here's what I got this morning. This is not supposed to go back and forth like that. It's supposed to be riding up right there, and then as it spins, this is supposed to walk up, and it's supposed to work like that. So I'm gonna have to tear this apart because it was operating kind of wonky. It was binding up on the starter mechanism, overheating, growling, and taking too much power. Everything got hot, so I'm gonna have to fix that. I got another one, but I'm going to try to fix this original motor first, see if I got parts to put in there. All right, when we get it apart, we will bring you back. Okay, I got the armature extracted from the main body. Pretty dirty. We'll try to clean that up a little bit. Dirty inside. Just noting that that's really going to be interesting to put the armature in place. Brushes are worn pretty bad. 1, 2, 3. One of them is actually good. I can't see. Maybe you can see in there. Probably not. But anyway, you can see hopefully that one of them is in pretty good shape and the other 3 are worn out. But we'll see if we can get some better brushes in there. Problem right away is what holds all this mechanism in there is these little, there's 2 screws. This one has escaped, this plate has come back, and this one is in place. So this has been having an issue. So we'll have to take that apart and see what we can do to fix that up. Okay, I managed to get the one screw out that was holding it. Don't have to worry about the other side just yet because it was already on top of the screw. And here pulls out our armature out of the nose cone. Other than being really dirty, we'll have to get this screw out. These retaining screws are pretty soft. They're actually a brass. Here. This definitely looks like a problem. It's I don't know, I'll have to look at another one to see what's going on with that, but it's wound itself out. Yeah. It's backed itself off to the point where it's been running around. I don't see any damage in the cone, except maybe right in this area, right behind the plate. You can see that this has been wearing. So that's backed off. That's one of my major problems right there. Well, we'll have to pull the key off, pull this off, clean all this right off, and see what's going on here. Hopefully the bolt hole in the armature shaft has not been mangled. That wasn't hard to do. There we got the little Woodruff key out. Just set it over there so we lose it on the black shirt. This is not going to slide off the shaft too easy. There we go. I think that's actually still in good shape. No. It is not. So I'll have to find some parts. I'll have to replace this. The threads and the hole is oblong. It won't hold this bolt because it has a step on it. Just goes into the shaft to hold that in place. So that is my main problem with this starter. Threads and the hole is oblong. It won't hold this bolt because it has a step on it. Just goes into the shaft to hold that in place. So that is my main problem with this starter. So I'm going to go outside and research a little bit. I got another starter identical to this. Actually, I got 3 or 4. This is the same starter that goes on the Minneapolis Molines and them earlier 6-volt starting systems. So I should be able to find something that's going to help me out. So I'm going to clean all this up, look for parts. We'll bring you back. And just like that, a quick little trip out to the tickle trunk. One of the sheds I got out here that I got starters, generators, electrical regulators, all that kind of stuff, electrical stuff. This is the one that I took out and I cleaned it up a little bit. I'm missing the collar there. I'm going to replace it. This is still a good piece. The shaft, I'm going to use this armature as well. I'm just going to run a file over where it's been burred up a little bit here. Just kind of clean that up a little bit. And then I got the original plate here with the internal bushing. Put that in place. Okay, making a little bit of progress here. I took my little file and I just went around a little bit around this shaft to take the little high spots off. And now that slides right on there. That's going to be just perfect. And while I was outside blowing the main body down, I got myself a little bit of grease here. We'll just put a bit of grease on here so as it gets itself lubricated. Now, I don't know if this went on that way. I believe it did. Be the dirtier part out, or the rustier. So it's on that way. A little bit of grease on it. One step at a time, we're getting there. I might have been a better idea to bring in more grease, but after all, I'm at the kitchen table, and I'd probably end up getting this darn grease all over the place. It's going to be bad enough as it is. There. Now we can go ahead with sliding this on. Don't know if we can see it on the camera, but these two bolts look the same physically, but this one has a T, this one has a N on it. I have no idea what that means, but this is the bolt I took out of the other armature, has a T. I couldn't tell what the other one had because it got rubbed off so bad, but I think we're all back together. Okay. There, now this is solid, it doesn't come flying up. I think we're in good shape. This is solid now, it just spins here, it's dry. I'll lubricate it before I put it to use, but it's firmly in place. So now we'll get it in the nose cone and see what happens. Okay, I think that'll be held firmly in place once we get the body on, which is the next step. There, got it clocked in the right place. So now we will really have to work at getting our end plate on. It's going to be a bit of a task. We better have a break. All right, after a little break, I went and put this together anyway, because, well, that's just what I do without the camera. Oh, I forgot one piece. We'll get the last piece on there, this little gasket. I don't think it does a damn thing, but anyway, so it's ready to mount in there. This here, Bendix, it's still dry. I haven't oiled it. It goes up to the top. That's in there. Doesn't move. I got my screws in there, not to over torque those little screws when they go into those power bars there, because that's what happens on the original body. They just stripped all the threads, had to do something else. So new and improved feature on it is this here bolt. I'll be able to put a big battery cable right to it, go to the solenoid, and then we'll have a little button affair there to hit the starter on the solenoid. So I'm just going to take it outside, lubricate here, put some oil on there, drop some oil down in through this bushing here, and in through oil up into this here cup here, because it probably hasn't any oil in there for 30 years at least. This is a Delco Remy, or last rebuilt by Delco Remy. Doesn't really say, I can't see if it says 6 or 12 volt, but I'm pretty sure it is a 6 volt. But we run a 12 on it because it really spins good. Anyway, now that we got that together, we'll give another attempt on starting that machine here just after lunch. We'll bring you back.